All right, boys and girls, go ahead and open up to page 333. We're going to be working in our workbooks to practice some of the things that I just taught you. Okay, so the first part says to discuss symmetry around the ones. So remember the place value chart I did maybe last week, where I said, okay, we have our ones, then we have our tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on this way. And then we have our tenths and hundredths this way. So it's like the ones is like our center right here. Everything kind of is symmetrical, and I'll explain what that means around the ones. So whenever you think of symmetry, I like to think of a butterfly, okay? And I want you to think of the ones as like the stem of the butterfly or like the body of the butterfly, right? It's got a little smiley face, the butterfly. Okay, that's kind of like our ones. That's the center of a butterfly. Now, if you've ever seen a butterfly, whatever is on one side is going to be mirrored on the other side. And it's going to be better than my drawing because it's going to be actually exactly the same. So let's say if there was like a little dot here on this wing of the butterfly, there would also be another dot on the other wing. And that is what is called symmetry. It's like a mirror image. If I were to cut this in half, I would have a mirror image on this side. Okay, it's exactly the same. Also, if I were to do, butterflies usually have another wing, right? It would look exactly the same on this side. Of course, I'm not a perfect drawer, so my drawing doesn't look perfect, but it's as perfect as I can make it. Let's say I had a stripe here on this side. I would also have to have a stripe here on this side. That is called symmetry. So over here, what we're saying is we see symmetry here because on the left side of the ones, we have our tens. On the right side, we have our tenths. And now 2 away from on our left side is our hundreds. And over here, we have our hundredths. So it's like, oh, it's like a butterfly. It's a mirror image, kind of. The only thing that is added to these are the thusa, and that's why I made an emphasis on that in our last video a while ago. Thusa and thusa. They're still tens, but they're tenths. Okay. All right. So discuss symmetries and relationships you see in the place value chart. We just did that. Is it easier to see place value patterns in A or B? So in here, do we see place value here? And here, which one is it easier to see in? I would say for me, it's probably easier to see it in A when you don't have the 0 in front of the 5. But I think that's kind of an opinion question there. All right, show and read decimal numbers. Use your decimal secret code cards. So you know those cards that you have over here? You can use those to fill these in, or you could just write the numbers down. So let's say I'm creating a number with a 1. In my ones place, I'm going to do 3. In my tens place, I'll do like 6. And in my hundreds, I can have like 9. So I have 963. And now I'm going to do tenths and hundredths. Let's see, I might have like 2 tenths and 8 hundredths. So that number would be 963 and 28 hundredths. If you were to read it as money, it would be $963.28. You see how in tenths, the tenths is just over here. But if we have our hundredths, we read everything in our hundredths. This box kind of shows that. It's kind of cool. All right, so our next page is going to be more along the lines of what I taught you in the last video, okay? So we're reading and writing the mixed number as a decimal. So here we have 3 and 1/10. So we would do 3 to the left of the decimal. And then how many tenths do we have? We have 1. So that would be written as 3.1. Okay. Number 4 is 5 and 7 hundredths. We would write that as 5. Write the decimal. We don't have a tenths. So we're going to put a 0 there. And we have 7 hundredths. So that would be read as 5.07. 5 and 7 hundredths, or $5.07. Okay, we have 2 and 46 hundredths here. We're gonna do 2.46. 2 and 46 hundredths, or $2.46. Our next one, we have 28 and 9/10. We would write 28.9. 28 and 9/10. All right, read and write each decimal as a mixed number. We're gonna write 12.8 as 12, and we have only 8/10. 8/10 right there. 8 in our tenths place. We have 3 holes in our ones place and 5 hundredths. Okay. Over here we have 4 and 85 hundredths, 4.85. 4 and 85 hundredths, just like that. Number 10, we have 49.7, where we say 49 and 7/10. Oops, sorry, I'm doing a decimal. 49, get that out of here, and 7/10. 49 and 7/10. Read each word name, then write the decimal for each word name. This is review. 61 hundredths. 61 hundredths. Well, that would be 0.61. 61 hundredths. 6 and, we have the decimal for our and, 6 and 14 hundredths. 6.14. 6 and 14 hundredths. 70 and 8/10. 70 and, as our decimal, 8/10. Number 14, 55 and represents our decimal, 6 hundredths. So we have 55 and, how do we write 6 hundredths? We're gonna have to do a 0 and then a 6. 55 and 6 hundredths. Okay. Now here's our expanded form practice. We have 8.2 and we have to write that in expanded form. We would write 8 plus 2/10. 8 in our ones and 2 in our tenths. Okay. Over here, 17 is 10 plus 7 and 4/10. And how many hundredths? 5 hundredths. Okay. Number 17, we have 106. 100 plus 6 plus how many tenths? 2/10. How many hundredths? 4 hundredths. There we go. For number 18, we have 50 and 77 hundredths. So 7/10. And how many in our hundredths? 7. Okay. Number 19, we have 312 and 9 hundredths. So we're going to write 300 plus 10 plus 2. We do that in our multiplication. Remember, for our area model multiplication, it's the same thing. Plus, we don't have any tenths, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's just write our 9 hundredths. Okay, 0.09, 9 hundredths. Now 20 is going to be long. Here we go. We have 693. 600 plus 90 plus 3 plus, how many tenths do we have? 2/10. How many hundredths do we have? 4 hundredths. And we are done. Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and do 21 and 22 on your own. These two are review. Once you are done with that, you're going to go on Mastery Connect and complete a quick quiz just to see how you're doing. So you can see how you're doing and I can see how you're doing. Good luck.